Hi everyone. In my opinion, there's too much conflict between cyclists and all other road users, and this is partly down to faults on both sides. But I do understand that cyclists are often in our road hierarchy that I've talked about many times before. They're often put right down at the bottom of the list. I also understand that it's usually the car drivers and the van drivers and the lorry drivers who get triggered just by these cyclists getting to the front of the queue, and they don't like it. In this clip that my viewers sent in, we're going to have a look at some of this conflict between cyclists and road users, but it's not one side or the other, it's both of them.
Lucky I've got good brakes. No, centre of the road. My lane, if there's not enough room. No, you're driving like an idiot. I've got you on camera, you tosser. Oh. Pardon? Threaten me.
Now, watching that first time, you may have already put yourself on one side of the fence or the other on who's to blame. But as always with all my clips, I'm going to dig a little further and we're going to find out the cause and effect to find out exactly what did happen and who was responsible for what. Although the space is a little limited, if I was cycling, I would have been happy to share that space. I understand totally the need for cyclists to command some scenarios if the space isn't good, but with there being little or no hazard to the left on the pavement, I would have positioned my bike just outside the grids and adjusted my speed to suit. It seems as though this cyclist only had this commanding of space in his mind, and he did very little to adapt and change. But because he's been wronged, I'm sure there were some gestures of some sort that provoked the other driver to turn round and act in the way that he did.
Lucky I've got good brakes.
This question goes out to the keen cyclists out there, and it is, do you think that there's enough driver education regarding how much space cyclists sometimes need to use to command the road situations? For example, if there's a narrowing, do you feel as though drivers are aware enough that sometimes you may have to take the centre of your lane to stop people forcing past? Well, if the answer is no, you're probably going to be pleased with what I show you in this next part of the clip. So what should the cars from the opposite direction have done? Well, the obstructions are on their side of the road, so it's their problem. And in this next clip of mine, I give a decent example of what to do if that space is questionable. Too many drivers just have the mindset of, if there's enough space, I'm going through. They don't take into account the space required by the cyclist. This is my mindset whenever I encounter this situation. If the cyclist was to lay down on the road with his bike and I can't give him that much room, I won't continue. Cyclists have not got that metal box protecting them, so they need to be given more space to compensate. Personally, I don't think there has been enough driver education over the years on the space that cyclists actually need. But With the updates in the highway code being proposed, hopefully they're going to get ratified and this is probably going to change, fingers crossed. This next section of the video is full of narcissism, so I'm not going to pull any punches with this next section. So this is where the stupid stuff starts. It's probably triggered by some flailing arms from Cyclists, but the Audi driver, he's been challenged. He's not going to have that. The multiple looks back are obviously there to show the cyclist's true disgust.
Lucky I've got good brakes.
Because this was obviously a near-death experience. Mountain out of a molehill springs to mind.
No, centre of the road. My lane, there's not enough room.
To be fair, even though there was less than I would have give, there was still enough room for both to proceed safely. But now the Audi driver is going to take the narcissism up to a whole new level.
No, you're driving like an idiot. I've got you on camera, you tosser.
Aren't we used to hearing statements like that from dashcam compilation channels? You generally know what people are like when you hear things like that said. So the cut and shut of this from the Audi driver is, he thinks that it's okay to swear in front of his children, to turn round purposefully and engage in a road rage incident, so then when they grow up they're going to think that type of behaviour is acceptable because the parents do it, and then to top it all off he uses them as a point in the argument. He says the cyclist is riding like an idiot because he's insinuating the kid's safety is at risk. It amazes me how offended people can get when their riding or driving is criticised.
Threaten me.
And all this because you couldn't share the road. I'm not actually sure what was said by the driver towards the cyclist towards the end of the clip. If you're the cyclist who sent this in, please let me know and I'll pass all your information across in the comments. But this clip really, it was handbags. It was egos getting in the way of common sense, which is unfortunately par for the course. If you spot any of the traits of these two in your driving or riding, see whether you can change. That's my challenge for the day. Keep safe. I hope to see you soon.